when you talk about name calling, I don't think you can deny this part, Jalen. There are those athletes that you will talk to. And even if you have the facts locked down, stock, barrel, you have it down, and you simply articulate and elocute the facts to them, and it is something that they don't like, that is their definition of you attacking their character, of you attacking them personally. When in fact, what you're doing is you're talking about them professionally. When you bring up Allen Iverson, I'm here to tell you something right now. These athletes, and that includes you, and any NBA player, if you knew all the things that I knew, you know, Allen Iverson should be my friend for life. Because as a reporter, I could have said 1,000 more things than I've ever said. And there isn't a person that's affiliated with the NBA that knows anything about the NBA or in the city of Philadelphia, Memphis, Detroit, or anywhere else that he's played who would disagree with me. The same goes for a plethora of athletes that I have covered. I'm just saying, yes, as a reporter. What I'm saying is there are things as a human being that I never touch. And I just turn my back to it. But at the end of the day, what you do between those lines is fair game. And if I say to you that you can't play, and it's backed up not just by facts,
but what if somebody say to you that you couldn't play? That's why that's like, I don't think you have to be a good player to do a good job. But I'm saying, if you don't expect me to take it personal, why you take it personal?
No. But I'm not arguing.
So for example,
that was you and Skip's argument about taking
if I'm a player that I felt like you did a column on, talked about on radio, talked about on First Take, and talked about my performance,
right?
What about if that player says, you know what, let me see how he was at my job. Let me see what he did in high school.
I don't have.
Let me see what he did.
Jalen, that's you and Skip. That's you and Skip. I'm not debating that with you. I'm not debating that with you. I'm just saying to you that it's not personal if I don't engage in name calling, but I limit my comments to how you performed and what directly affects your performance. And if you're pathetic, you're pathetic. It is what it is. Now, I understand. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Stephen,
it's not personal, and it's not crossing the line if the facts prove it to be correct.
Stephen A., hold that thought. Stop down right there. We're going to continue this. We're taking a break.
You can't stop.
No, I know. Well, you know what? Stephen A. will probably keep talking through the commercial. That's why we love him. We're going to keep this up because I'm looking at trending topics on Twitter. Jalen Rose, Bosch Spice, First Take, Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith. You're digging it. We'll keep coming with it. We're back at 2. Stay with us. Back to the debate desk. Yes, I do have the best job in the world, sitting here, a fly on the wall as part of a terrific sports conversation that has really gone philosophical. Jalen, in the last segment, you brought up an interesting point, and that is, if we're talking about everybody being fair game, you said, are reporters then fair game?
Right. If you assassinate my character, talk about my performance, is it all right for me to do the same?
You as a media member?
I'm just talking about an athlete, an entertainer, anyone.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's what happened yesterday.
How?
That's what happened yesterday. I asked you a question, and that's what really spurned all of this.
Yeah, okay. So, but you're saying fair game as in?
If you could talk about someone else's performance, if you could talk about what they can't do.
Yeah.
Is it okay for them to say what you can't do?
Sure, absolutely.
That's what happened yesterday.
Well, who, of all...
I don't think that was what you took issue with yesterday. You're saying, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that you took issue because even though he didn't call you a liar, you're
he's
assuming that because he asked you questions about your high school career,
what he read called me a liar. And so you were just piggybacking that and spewing it out unprovoked, I thought.
Was it a lie? So then I can't be a liar.
Was it a lie?
Yeah. Did I tell a lie?
No, but you said but the report was incomplete.
But guys, that's what I'm saying. When you watch a game, you pick up a stat sheet, you say what you see. That's what a reporter does. That's what a reporter should do.
Yeah.
When you cross the line, when you name call, when you assassinate my character, when you demean me, that's where people get upset. When you call someone selfish, when you call somebody weak, when you make up a negative nickname, that's what get people upset. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this job, because I wanted to be just the opposite. Now it's become a 24/7, 365 talking head circus. It didn't used to be like that in the media. If Jerry West played today, we'd be all over him. There's no way he'd be Mr. Clutch. There's no way he'd be the logo. 9 straight NBA finals and lost every time. People wouldn't let him walk down the street.
Guys, let me do this. Cris Carter is a member of, obviously, the media now. He works here with ESPN. He's been a member on this show. In fact, some of our most heated debates have been when Cris has been at this debate desk. Cris, I know you've been listening from home. There's a lot of things that have been discussed, but I know the one thing that you want to get in on here is that line between reporter and athlete. Go ahead and start, and we'll piggyback off wherever you go.
Well, this is one thing that we should just be careful. We're all very, very fortunate that we're able to cover. And every time we have an opinion, it's like a rock going into a pond. And we have the platform based on ESPN, and we cultivate the opinion of the public. So for me, I have a great deal of respect for everybody that works for ESPN, and I always try to have that in the things that I say. But I even have a greater deal of respect for the people that are out there playing, because when I did play, I realized how it was. So I believe in everything you do. When I wake up in the morning, I'm a human being. I'm a former professional athlete, not a reporter. I'm a father. I'm a human being. So I think that we should always consider that. I think that Stephen A., he's right. He does a great job, because we don't tell the whole truth, but we tell a truth that's acceptable to the public so that they might be able to understand a little more of the things going on. I think that because we have this show First Take and it's more of a debate show, I think that you guys do a great job, but I think that getting closer and closer to hurting each other than we are in helping the public. We're supposed to help the public have a better opinion of what's going on, because we know, because we've been there. Either Skip being in the locker room, Stephen A. being in the locker room, our playing careers, Jalen playing at all different levels. But are we accomplishing that? And I think that we crossed the line as far as media and athletes trying to blend those together, because there's never going to be a nice mix between the two. Because for me to do my job, I can't do what he wants me to do. So I understand Skip and Stephen A. What I understand the stance that they take. But as a human being, I think that we should be careful. Like, I enjoy watching this show, but I don't think it's been that pleasurable for me the last 2 days to see you guys going at it and saying things that can be very, very personal and true. I just think that we all just need to be very, very careful, because there are human beings on the other end of our words.
Skip, what's your response to that?
Well, I've had my battles with Cris. Should I talk to this camera or this camera? I don't know. Let's do this one. There we go. Hi, Cris. How are you?
Very good, Skip. How you doing?
We've engaged on this show before. Once we crossed the line, we went a little too far. We got personal. I thought you got personal with me. I'm a fighter, man. I came from a pretty rough neighborhood myself. I fought my way home a lot, so I've got that in me. And when you push me, I'm going to push back, even though, obviously, I wasn't Cris Carter. I wasn't, all he does is catch touchdowns. And I respect the heck out of that legacy. But I also think that I'm pretty good at judging talent myself. So Cris and I disagreed about Tim Tebow. We went back and forth, and I crossed the line. I made some snide comment at the end of a discussion about how many rings do you have, Cris? And that was wrong.
I played 16 years in the NFL. Like,
what's that?
And I played 16 years in the NFL. I'm like Jalen. When even Kwame Brown is a great player.
Yeah.
Do you regret that, Skip?
I got a stack of money on anybody that want to play Kwame Brown in one-on-one playing in the NBA.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Skip, when you went there, did you regret that?
Not at the moment, because I thought Cris had taken a shot.
Well, that's the fighter.
I know. That's
but now you're removed several months from that.
Here's what I despise, is the insinuation or the declaration from Jalen or Cris that You don't know, Skip, because you didn't play.
I never said that.
Okay,
but
it comes up. It comes up.
Women do a great job in sports all of the time.
Okay. And I've responded. I've responded to Chris about this. Right now, 28 out of the 32 NFL GM/personnel directors did not play in the National Football League.
Absolutely.
They're pretty good at their jobs. I look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Right now, the best team in the West, even though I think the Spurs are, but they have the best record. Thunder does. Sam Presti built the potential dynasty, and I'm not sure Sam was much better than I was in high school.
What makes you? But because 28 of them never played, or 30 of them never played, and Sam Presti never played, what makes your evaluation equal to his?
To whose?
Sam Presti's.
It may not be, but
because he didn't play, that don't mean that he hasn't been ingratiated in doing that on a daily basis.
You were right, but I spent those 30 years sitting at the foot of the Dick Mattas and the Phil Jacksons. I'm pretty good before the draft, and Jay's going to have to back me up on
I will.
But my draft picks are pretty good. I think I have a pretty good sense of who can play and who can't. And my rule of thumb, and it doesn't always apply, and you can certainly take shots at this. My rule of thumb is that I've found that the greater the player you were, the worse you are at judging talent.
And you told me that.
Yeah, and like my number one example is the greatest Michael Jordan.
And then I'll say Jerry West.
Okay, and you can. There are
exceptions.
exceptions.
Ozzie Newsome. That's why it's tough to say that as a general rule. Ozzie Newsome was a great player and a great talent evaluator.
Well, pretty soon we're going to find out how great John Elway is.
We will.
The greatest NBA coach of all time is Phil Jackson. He's a former player.
All black guys can't play basketball.
He's a former player.
Yeah. What's that, Chris?
I said all black guys can't play basketball.
It is tough to make broad, sweeping, general statements. And I've called you on that before, Skip.
No, I know.
Okay.
So, but again, that 28 out of 32, that is a glaring statistic right now.
It is. Chris, go ahead and make a point.
Okay. I think, and Skip, I think you do a good job at what you do. But I think
appreciate that.
Guys like yourself, you wake up every morning trying to prove to people that because you didn't play, I think that you have an expertise. But I think that the more people mention the playing and not playing, I think it becomes unprofessional. When you've covered sports, I mean, Bobby Knight, he's at the bench, at Ohio State.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do. Bill Parcells was not a great football player. Bill Belichick was not a great football player. So I don't put anything into the ability to be able to play. I mean, Jack Nicklaus is not a great golf coach, but he's the greatest golfer of all time. God only gives you so much ability, but there are those who transition that and have the ability to be able to put it in the hoop or throw it, but they also have the ability to be able to coach. And I do believe that is a few numbers.
Okay, Chris, let me sum this up because we got to hit another break here. The most fun I had during the entire great football season that we just went through was with you on this show. Those are the most memorable moments I had, and we were close to crossing the line most of the time.
And it was hot. It got too hot at times. And that's sometimes personal.
That 28 out of 32 NFL executives, that doesn't mean if a player got that job, he wouldn't do a good job. It's about opportunity also.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, fair point. We're going to break. We're going to come back with more of this. Cris Carter on the phone. Stephen A. Smith has been, you went 22 minutes. We haven't heard from you, Stephen A. We will when we come back. Stay with us. More First Take on the other side.